Oliver, and welcome to Retell Her. Today, I'm talking to Melinda Emerson, also known as America's #1 small business lady. Welcome, Melinda.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're also known by Forbes as the #1 most influential women for entrepreneurs. Is that correct?
Well, actually, Forbes named me the #1 woman for entrepreneurs to follow on Twitter.
I see. Yeah. Very exciting, though.
Yeah, it's different every day, that's for sure. You know, since I became the small biz lady on Twitter, I really have positioned myself as someone who my whole mission is to end small business failure. And that's everything that I do, from the blog posts that I write or the articles that I write for Huffington Post or Inc. or Entrepreneur, or, you know, all the opportunities that I have to be interviewed in the media. I'm all about giving people tools and tips to not only start their business, but stay in business.
Well, let me tell you, as a self-professed mompreneur, you've helped me. I've read tons of articles by you in New York Times and watched your videos, and you're just very inspirational. So I'm very happy that you're here today.
That is so kind of you to say.
I mean it. So you've been an entrepreneur for 16 years. How did you become your own boss, and what inspired you to want to help others?
Well, you know what? I was very fortunate very early on in my career. My second job in the business, I used to be a television producer, and I got my dream job at 23 years old. But you know what? My dream job became a nightmare, and I had to figure out something else. So I always wanted to start my own business, and I actually was inspired by Oprah Winfrey. She was the first journalist I ever saw start a business. And so I always wanted to start my own video production company. And in 1999, I did just that. I had a laptop, a fax machine, and a dream. And I went to the basement of my house and I started my company, Quintessence Group. And it grew very fast. And in 2001, I won a business plan competition in Philadelphia. And I won free office space for a year in a business incubator. And I won $20,000. And that gave me the opportunity to hire my first employee. And from there, the rest kind of is history. You know, my business did very, very well. My husband was able to quit his full-time job at GE and join the business. I had 8 or 9 full-time employees and another 20 freelancers that work with us on a regular basis. And then all of a sudden, you know, in 2005, I got pregnant with my son, which was a wonderful blessing for my husband and I. But I ended up on bed rest for 6 months. And unfortunately, I had made the #1 biggest mistake you can make in business. I had built a business that couldn't run without me. So when I was home on bed rest, trying to get my little baby here, boy, I started thinking about all of the expensive mistakes I had made in business. And man, that list was long. It was scary how long it was. But then I thought to myself, what does the next generation of entrepreneurs need to know? Because one of the things I figured out is that I would have run my business better had I had better advice. And I was a voracious reader. I always took business plan courses every single year I've been in business, and I actually still do that. But I realized that I wanted to create a system, if you will, to help people transition from having a job to starting a business a lot more effectively than I did. And so I created what we now call the Emerson Planning System, which was my 6-step system. It starts out with developing a life plan. I believe people need to figure out what they want first, and then they need to figure out a business that aligns with that.
How do you think people can do that, though, figure out what they want? Is it from talking to other people, asking someone who's already doing what they're doing?
No, I think it's about spending quality time with yourself and having an honest conversation with yourself.
That's huge.
About what you want and why you want it. How are you living, but then how do you really want to live? You know, what does your best day look like 5 years from now? How much money do you need to make to be happy? These are all things you need to figure out before you put your shingle out there and say you're open for business. And then the second step in the Emerson Planning System is figuring out how you're going to pay for this wonderful dream business you want to start. Because we know banks don't really loan money to start up businesses. So the money to start your business is going to come from your right or your left pocket. So I help people figure out how to get their money straight so that they can really start their business. Because some people are addicted to Prada. So them people need to keep their job,
Well, interesting you say that. I remember reading something, an article that you, I guess it was an interview where you said, one of your friends approached you and said, wow, you're doing so great. I want to be just like you. And you said, you like Prada too much. I don't know if this is for you.
Absolutely.
So the sacrifice.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing about it is that in the first few years of a business, your business owns you.
Right.
You don't own your business. So you have to be prepared to work that hard again. You have to be prepared to have that little money again, you know. And if you've been having a big job and you got 2 brand new cars in the driveway, $3,000 or $4,000 a month mortgage, you're not going to be able to require a lifestyle to really pursue entrepreneurship, because it takes 12 to 18 months for a small business to break even, let alone replace your corporate salary. So what that means is you may have to go without a paycheck for a year or 2. That's a whole lot of money you better have saved.
That's huge, especially if you have a family, a spouse. That's huge.
Exactly. And then the third thing I want you to do is figure out what skills you have and then what skills you need to run your particular kind of business. I don't want you to start a restaurant because you like to eat, right? I want you to start a restaurant because you know something about running a restaurant. Right. So what I advise people to do is go to work part-time for a business like the one they want to start, so they can really get clear about whether or not this is something they really want to do. And then I make them figure out who their paying customer is. So many entrepreneurs chase anybody that they think has money, as opposed to having a specific niche target customer.
Okay.
And so I force them to figure out what is their niche, who is their target customer. Because the one thing that every small business owner has is limited time and limited resources, right? So I want you to pick a target that you can actually hit, you know? And then the last thing is I want you to write a business plan. Don't spend more time planning your vacation than you do how you're going to support yourself and your family financially. I want you to, it doesn't need to be a 40-page manifesto, no, but you need to have a plan. And by the way, you need to use it to run your business. It's not some historical document you're going to write once, put up on the shelf, and never look at it again. No, I want you to actually use it, because really it's your hypothesis of what you think is going to happen anyway. Okay. So once you get some real data, you can go back and look and see if what you were thinking is actually what happened. And then the last step is I want you to launch while you're still working. Okay. Because listen, you need to keep those paychecks rolling while you're fumbling around in the dark trying to figure out what you're doing. Right. So that's why I tell people, be a spare room tycoon and launch while working. Okay. You don't need retail office space. Right. That's what I tell people.
Oh, good, because that was a question I had for you. If you're passionate about something, how do you manage having a 9-to-5 and then coming home or on the weekends figuring out how to build this business? So that's awesome advice.
Well, if you're going to do that, you got to stop watching TV. Right. You're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep, but you can do it. You know, when I was working on my book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, which is what the manifesto was after I was pregnant, I said, you know what? I need to write all this stuff down so that other people don't make the expensive mistakes that I did. You know what I did? I got up at 5 a.m. and I wrote from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. every day before my family got up. That is how I got my business, my book done. And if you're starting a business, you need to figure out how you can carve out 2 hours every day.
So get up before the sun.
Get up before the sun, or work when other folk are sleeping. But you got to give me 2 hours every day to pursue your business dream.
Okay, that's huge. I know that you have a collaboration with Sam's to help small business owners kind of focus and propel and figure out the best resources for them. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that got developed?
I'm so excited that I have the opportunity to be a national spokesperson for Sam's Club. And what I'm doing is going around the country and letting people know about the great services that Sam's Club is providing for business owners, above and beyond their great low prices on everyday stuff you need for your small business. So we know you can get great prices on paper and coffee and the things that you need if you're a retail business or a restaurant. But now they've partnered with other companies that we all buy things from to get you an even better deal. So if you're doing credit card processing, they've got a great deal with First Data, 1.9%. on credit card processing is amazing. That's the best deal in the business. You want to check them out. Also, if you're doing payroll processing or you need HR services, they've got a great solution for that. They also have a travel club now. So if you need to, travel a lot for your business, if you're going to see your customers, check what's going on at Sam's Club, because they're rivaling what's going on with some of those other major travel sites like Travelocity and Expedia. So, there's lots of services that they're providing, and you get these included in your membership. It doesn't cost cost you anything extra to use these great services for your business. So I'm a Sam's Club Plus member.
So am I.
And I use it for my business. And so I'm so excited to have the opportunity to partner with them and to go around the country and talk to small business owners about the great things Sam's Club is doing, because Sam's Club is invested in your business success.
Well, it's a great collaboration. There's a quote that you have that really inspired me, and I want to share it with our audience today. It says, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you never lose in business, you just win or learn.
That is my signature phrase that I tell all small business owners, because a lot of times, there's going to be a lot of expensive mistakes you get the opportunity to make in your business, but you can't dwell on that. You get another day to make it good the next day. So I tell people, you never lose in business. Either you win or you learn.
Okay, that's a tweetable moment for our audience at home. You're sitting at home, you never lose in business.
Either you win or you learn.
That's huge. So Melinda, I know we have a lot of suppliers that watch our show, and they're probably sitting there wondering, you have such a great social media following. You're so well knowledgeable about social media. What tips can you give to them who are struggling in that arena?
Well, the first thing I would tell anyone that wants to get started with social media is that they really only need to focus on one social media platform at a time. A lot of people are not being affected with social media because they're killing themselves doing Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Periscope. Just stop. Figure out the place where your best target customer spends the majority of their time online, and then you need to focus on that social media platform too. The second thing I would say is, as you are getting started with social media, you have to use what I call the help mantra. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is only share helpful information, period. Don't be out here bashing customers, bashing competitors. All I want you to do is be helpful, add value to the conversation. The second thing I want you to do is engage people. Right? It's still about like, know, and trust, even online. Right. And when you meet somebody face to face, it takes 3 interactions to turn that interaction into commerce. Well, online, it's at least 7. And I've seen estimates as high as 21 quality interactions. So you have to thank people for sharing your content, engage with people, learn some people's names. You've got to show up consistently online to become a trusted resource. The third thing I want you to do is listen carefully. Don't assume you know the culture of the different social media sites. Facebook people do not want to be communicated to like they're Twitter people. Right. They don't like all that hashtag stuff we do over on Twitter. And then the last thing I want you to do is promote yourself with care. Nobody wants to be sold to, and they especially don't want to be sold to online. So I want you to share other people's content at a 4-to-1 ratio of your own. So be sweet and retweet other people's stuff. That's what I want you to do, because what you want to do when you first start using social media is friend raise. So if you want friends, you must be friendly, right?
I guess so.
That's how it works in social media.
Yeah, awesome tip. Thank you so much. 4-to-1 ratio.
4-to-1.
Okay, that's big. Also, what about for a small business owner who is struggling right now, on the brink of failure or afraid of failure? What tips would you have for them to kind of turn things around?
Well, there's really 5 reasons why small businesses fail to me. The number one reason is because people weren't realistic about what their life was going to be like running their business. They thought some magic fairy was going to come and unlock the door every day at their business. So I want you to really focus on why you started this business, right? The second reason why small businesses fail is because people have no network to sell to. 90% of all small businesses get business from referrals. So it is really about building your network long before you need them. Nobody wants to hear from someone they haven't talked to in 3 years who wants to sell them something, right? So make sure you nurture your network before you need them.
Okay.
The third reason why small businesses fail is because every small business owner I know wants to chase new business. Small business lady, how can I get new customers? Is like the most common question that I have emailed. Here's a news flash for you. How about you try to keep the customers you already have? Work on nurturing your customers. Use email to keep in touch. Value your customers. Thank them. Call them. Get feedback from them. They are your best possible source for more revenue, because anybody will buy something once, but the goal is to get them to buy it over and over again. Right. So focus on your existing customers. The fourth thing I want you to do is have a specific customer that you're going after. If everybody can use your product or service, nobody will. So you've got to have a specific niche target customer, and you've got to make sure that you specialize in solving that customer's problem, right? Because who makes more money, your cardiologist or your primary care physician?
The cardiologist.
Right. So you better be trying to figure out how to be the cardiologist for what you do.
Okay.
Right? Because they get to charge more money.
Yeah.
Cardiologists drive Lamborghinis, you know?
How do you feel about small businesses using focus groups to do that? Is that a good way to narrow it down
I think small businesses should absolutely do focus groups. But you know what? You can do them online.
Okay.
You can do them on Facebook or Twitter. All you need to do is people love to give you their opinion.
Right.
So ask them for it. And don't be afraid to give them some little incentive for doing it. It could be an ebook, a product sample, whatever. But get feedback. Don't just go on your opinion and your mama's opinion. That's not enough information for you to be in business and stay in business.
Right.
And then the last reason why small businesses fail, and this is probably the most deadly reason, if you don't manage your household with a budget, you will not manage your business with one. And successful businesses are run based on up-to-date financial information.
Okay.
By the 15th of the month, you need to know how well your business did last month so that you can make adjustments. You can figure out what you got to do. And I don't believe in these annual sales goals. I believe in 30-day sales goals, because if you know how much money you got to make this month, you know how much money you got to make this week.
Right.
And so that's what you got to focus on. Don't let your fear of math be the reason why you don't know what's really going on in your business. So it's all about the numbers, because profit is how we keep score in business.
Well, great advice. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. This is what I do. I love it.
Finally, our last question on Retell Her, one of my very favorite, is we have a photo of you as a young girl. Looking back on that young girl today, what tips would you tell her on how to navigate this life?
You know, if I had an opportunity to have a conversation with myself when I was a little girl, there's a couple of things I would say. Number one is a good idea is still a good idea 3 weeks from now. You know, be patient. And what God has for you is for you, and no one else will ever be able to take that away from you. The other thing I would just say is that don't sweat the small stuff, and everything's small.
Right. I agree with that.
That is really, sitting here now, that is advice I wish, everything is actually going to be okay. That's it. That's what I would tell myself.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Melinda. How can people find more information about you?
Well, if people want information that I share on my blog is succeedasyourownboss.com. If you want to interact with me, I answer small business questions live every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitter. All you have to do is use my hashtag, which is #SmallBizChat. And if you want to connect with me, I am Small Biz Lady on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay. And also, don't be afraid to pick up Melinda's book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, and I have something for you.
Oh,
this is a Small Biz Chat t-shirt.
Well, thank you. I love it. I hope you think it looks good on me.
Awesome.
Don't go anywhere. Saturday morning meeting for suppliers. We'll be right back.